Let's welcome in now White House correspondent for the Daily Signal, Elizabeth Mitchell. Elizabeth, you've been sitting here during that entire time. What stood out to you that the president said this afternoon?
What really stood out to me was his defense of why this is an America First move. A lot of people have criticized him, saying this is a strange time to be bailing out a foreign government. This is not something that happens commonly. But he said the reason this is happening is that their bad economy in Argentina could spread to other countries. And Argentina is a great friend of the United States right now with their current leader. And he believes that what he's doing now could make them successful for many years to come.
Yeah, and Argentina was heading towards down the path of socialism. And Milei's victory really, he started cutting waste, fraud, and abuse within his own government. We saw him here in the United States at CPAC with Elon Musk, who was just starting Doge at the time, really trying to steer Argentina into free market, capitalistic policies, which the president hopes will continue, especially with this $20 billion currency exchange, if you will. But he's betting on Milei to be successful, and if Milei is not, President Trump said, then the money stops. What did you make of his comments on Spain? This was one of the questions from the press that basically said Spain is not fulfilling its NATO obligations of 5% of GDP. And the president said, that makes me really mad. They're a relatively safe country because if Russia invades any of their neighbors, they're going to have to go through those countries to get to Spain. But he feels like they're taking advantage. And he said that he's thinking about tariffing Spain as a punishment. So I guess my question to you is, how do you view the president's use of tariffs? And has he been successful thus far in his first term, kind of utilizing them as pressure points?
He has been extremely successful with this so far. Time after time, we've seen him simply threaten tariffs, and with that, countries react. So I would not be surprised if Spain hears these remarks he just made to that reporter, saying that he's very unhappy with them and they need to pay their fair share, and maybe they'll even come to the table just because of that. But he's right. Spain is very insulated, and so they don't see this as their problem, but he's challenging them to carry their weight just like all the other countries.
Yeah, and we know that he's using the tariff revenue to supply WIC so that mothers and babies don't get cut out of this government shutdown from their benefits. We know that he said that he's used tariffs to bring peace in the Middle East through the promise of trade and negotiation and deals. He's a very transactional president. He said something about Hamas that also made news. We're through the first phase of the peace deal. 20 living hostages were released yesterday. There are still 24 dead bodies, and it looks as though Hamas is trying to delay returning those bodies to their family in Israel. And a question came to him: will Hamas actually disarm? And that's been a huge question. That's a huge focus point of this deal. Israel can no longer have a neighbor that wants to annihilate them. And he said if Hamas doesn't, then we will make sure they do disarm. What did you make of that?
Prior to securing this historic release of the living hostages, President Trump, I repeatedly heard him say that freeing the deceased hostages was almost just as important or even more important, because those families really want the bodies of their loved ones back. And of course, they've suffered such a tragic loss and they deserve to have that. And so this is a serious problem that hasn't been done yet. And we know that that is what President Trump's going to do. Israel cannot keep having such an armed enemy so close to them, and it could cause serious issues going forward. We don't want something like this to happen again.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's something that he said that he's talked to the top leadership of Hamas and that they've agreed to disarm, and if they don't, they know the consequences, which has probably been worked out with Israel, which has done such a wonderful job of defending itself and bringing us to the point that we got to yesterday by attacking Iran's nuclear sites, by taking out Hezbollah, by confronting Hamas right there in the Gaza Strip. The president also spoke on the government shutdown. I don't even know what day we're in right now. It feels like forever, and it feels like there's no momentum to reopen this government at all. The president said that the troops will be paid, that he has secured that, but that more programs will be cut.
I believe we're on day 14 now, and no end is in sight. We had a tweet from Russ Vought at the Office of Management and Budget this morning saying, as you said, the tariffs will pay for WIC. They're going to find a way to pay troops and pay law enforcement. And in the meantime, they're going to be cutting Democrat programs. Any sort of agencies, Democrat employees, those are all going to be cut. And this is an excellent leveraging point for the Trump administration, as it's really a lose-lose position for Chuck Schumer.
We're going to have to see where the public opinion polls play out on this one, because one side is going to have to give, and I don't think it's a good look for Democrats. But Elizabeth, thank you so much for joining me this afternoon. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.